Hi Doreen.
Hi Jimmy, how are you?
So I think you back for another tip and tricks video today, and I think you wanted to talk about how to start a painting, right?
No, not quite. I want to talk about how I start a painting. There's no right and wrong. It's your choice of how you start any old painting. But I choose to start, one of the easiest ways is to make a big mark. Like I was talking about last week, the mark making is so important. So I made this mark a little bit earlier so the paint would dry and it won't smear every time I add another colour to it. I've also put out some paints and I'm going to just add them at random to see what happens. The yellow is a bit bright, so I mix it up with some white, and I can cut. That was the bit I didn't like. It stuck out too much, and then, so I just tried. Because it's dry, I can cover it. If it was still wet, it would all smear and give a very different effect. But now I can get a nice clear yellow without the black. I've also taped around this so I can see where, when I take it off, I'll have a nice edge without jagged. Oh gosh, that looks nice. And I've got this other colour now. Again, a little bit of white because the colours straight from the tube or whatever, a little bit too harsh. Sometimes just adding a little bit of everything to each other gives a much more, what's the word? When two colours go together better. What's the word I want? Can you think of it?
Well, I'm trying.
Yeah. But anyway, I think you know what I mean. They're not, see there's a bit of black is still wet, and that doesn't matter because that gives me another colour blending in.
Some accidents, happy accidents.
Yep. Oh, without happy accidents, you wouldn't get any very interesting paintings. They very often make the most interesting part. Oh, I need more white. And I'm just putting colour wherever I feel like it. It doesn't need to stay there, and it probably won't stay there. Most of these colours will move around. I like to use a brush to start with. Once I've got a few colours on, I'll try a knife, which makes, oh, I really love working with a knife. You can get straight lines, blend colours in beautifully, like that. Do lovely, ooh. It's so much more fun using a knife than a brush. I don't know. You also make lots of mistakes with a knife because it goes in places you don't really want it to. But they're also very easy to correct. A bit more yellow, a little bit brighter here. Just see how playing around gives you lovely effects. I think what I will do eventually is draw some lines inside the black because it's pretty boring, just a black mark. But the other shapes are slowly coming together. And what I also wanted to show, one thing I do a lot, is to use bits of coloured paper, which I've got over here. bits of paper I've painted over years, but I can try different colours and where they will go. Just lay a piece on, maybe, no, but maybe something down here would be, that looks quite nice. I mean, I can use some of them as collage, but mainly I want to see what they would look like as paint. Here's another. And you can see how a slightly darker colour here looks good. So I can mix a little bit of black into the yellow. Maybe see how that goes. Tends to give a greeny colour yellow. And a little bit of this. It's not exactly the same, but that doesn't matter. It's a more neutral colour than the other colours I've put on so far. Okay. Just playing away. Oh, that didn't work very well, but it's a bit more black. A little bit of the reddish colour as well. Keep them all blended together. And I think that would look good coming out here. Just trying things out. Nothing's set in concrete. It can all be changed. But things are coming together now. I'm wondering, do I want a bit of blue in this?
Oh yes, we want a bit of blue. We want a bit of blue.
You reckon? Okay, let's try a little bit of blue. Where am I? Yes, a little bit of blue. Oops. I don't want it to be too bright. Just a sort of cooler tinge to these warm colours. And that can go with slightly greyed blue. That looks like a nice place for a different colour. Oh, that's where the black paint is still slightly wet, but that makes it, oh, that looks quite nice. I think I want some more black. A couple of lines, just to keep it. No. Oh, another good tip is to have a roll of kitchen paper to clean your, particularly knives, but brushes also. It keeps your painting water cleaner. Makes things much easier. Because I get my water very muddy very quickly if I'm not careful. Oh, that was a shame because that was a nice edge. But anyway, doesn't matter. A few more lines as well after. I've got a lot of jagged edges here, and it's nice to have a few straight ones. As many differences as possible to make an interesting painting. Not all jumbled up, but I know it's going to have a little bit of orangey white up here.
I almost feel like this piece could just be stuck on there and be nice.
Which one?
That?
Yeah, I could stick it on. Well, maybe I will. The thing is, whatever you do is okay. There are no rules in painting. The whole idea, oh, can I have a bit of newspaper so I don't get glue all over everything. Oh, this is a good bit now, isn't it? So I use what do you call it?
Gel.
Gel, yeah. And I prefer the matte because I don't like gloss. Most of these paints will come out matte, and you have a bit of gloss stuck on it will spoil the effect. But this is so. These are all sorts of tissue papers and anything I've got when I have an empty. At the end of the day, when my palette is not completely clean, I often paint a few bits of paper like this to give me. Come on, unfold. Oh. The thinner the paper, the more difficult it is to stick down, but there we go. And this edge, which I could have torn off, but I will just go over with black.
Breaking straight lines.
To
break the straight line.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like an obvious addition. It's all. See, I've got a bit of white on my knife. I didn't clean it properly, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do up there, I'm going to have a little bit of, that's a bit greeny. So, yellow and blue make a greeny colour. See how that comes out. A little bit of black. Let's put this away. And turn the whole thing around. It's good to work on a bit more brown in that is needed to get it to blend in. I mean, I've been painting for years, so I know the colours pretty well, but all you've got to do is experiment. If you don't like what happens, just try another colour. See, that was getting a little bit too green, so I'll try a bit more of this and the brown. That's the brown. And that now joins up with that, which is rather nice. I bet a lot of people think, what a mess she makes. But You don't have to be as messy as me, but on the other hand, some amazing accidents come out of being messy. So it's not all bad. I often wish I wasn't as messy as I am, but it's still... You see how just playing and keeping a small number of colours, not too many, but just a little bit of a touch here and there of something different, starts to make sense. I'll need a bit more white to soften this. This blue and the yellow, and the green and the brown. And then we can go over here. I don't want to lose all of this torn edge because it's rather nice, but I don't want it all everywhere. That colour can go in that little bit. I don't want to do too much today, but you can see how just by playing around, I think a painting's emerging. I don't need to have any idea when I start. I just want to let it evolve, because when you've got something like these strong black marks, you've got to start, and you can play with that as long as you like. And I don't know, it talks back to you. It's sort of saying, oh, we need a bit more of that here and a bit more of that. And the longer you do it, the more that's going to happen. I won't try and finish this today. I just want to show how to get started and play with colours. I'll probably leave it, and maybe another week or so I'll have another go at it and hopefully make a finished painting. Probably will. I mean, this, at the moment, I've got a really long, straight black, and I think it would be good to move some of that away. The trouble is, once I start, I find it hard to stop. It really is such fun to do it. That's better. A little bit more black down here. I'll just put some colour in there, and I think I'll then leave it for today, because everybody's getting bored stiff watching this. But anyway, I'm not. Break that, that's too obvious there. Well, that's how I start. And I'm going to see what happens another day, perhaps.
Thank you, Doreen.